All right, joining us now is clinical psychologist Dr. Chloe Carmichael. Doctor, thanks so much for joining the program. I guess the big question is, in layman's term for our audience, what is the difference from psychosis and what women are saying that they struggle with postpartum depression?
Good morning, Lawrence. Yeah, there's a huge difference. A psychosis, by definition, means a break with reality, whereas depression could simply be a loss of pleasure, a lack of energy, a lot of negative thoughts, but, certainly not hearing voices or, seeing things. And there's actually an interesting intersection between Lindsay's actions and what she says were the command hallucinations. All of this got started because she didn't want to return to work. That was what the triggering event apparently was extreme anxiety about separating from her children and returning to work. And, what an incredibly pathological potential way of acting out, resolving that dilemma that she said that the voice said that her children would be better off dead than being without their mother.
Is there a possibility, because, the burden is on the prosecution right now, and they have to prove at some point she knew of her action. So I guess the question is there the ability through this mental state of psychosis of going in and out of that psychosis? Meaning, at some point, could you know and then go back into the psychosis?
Yes, of course. And many psychotic people are, in fact, really bothered by their hallucinations. And in fact, I think it's also not insignificant that apparently Lindsay reports that the voice told her this was, quote, her last chance, which is actually interesting. Many psychotic people complain that they feel that they'll never, be free of the voices. And yet this voice was telling her it was her last chance. But, I'm not sure what that meant, but maybe saying, this is your last, quote, opportunity to do this, or else what? Or else the voice is going to go away, or saying that, she's going to end her own life and this is her last, quote, chance to take her children with her. There's oftentimes an overlap between a person's psychotic delusions and what's actually troubling them in real life. These psychotic voices don't truly come from nowhere. Of course, they're obviously being originated from inside that person's head.
So we've been watching in the courtroom, Lindsay Clancy, and there's been several moments where the court has had to stop the proceedings because she's been uncontrollable. What do you make of that?
Well, even in her uncontrollable sobbing moments, from what I've seen, what she's been sobbing is, I can't do this. What I haven't heard, and maybe I missed it, but I haven't heard her sobbing and saying, I am so sorry. So as a clinical psychologist, what I've been struck by is what appears to be a lack of accountability. So, blaming this on medications potentially, which I get it. I've watched the testimony.
Hmm.
She very well may have been improperly medicated or over medicated, but this is not like taking a sleeping pill where the doctors failed to tell her it would put her to sleep. And so she uncontrollably fell asleep. There's no cocktail of medications that automatically leads a person to methodically strangle her 3 young children. And so even her breakdowns in court, again, to me, they don't appear to be, racked with accountability of saying, I'm so sorry. They're saying, I can't do this, which is what her avoidant escape, method seemed to be about in the first place.
Things could wrap up today. We're going to be following it. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thanks, Lawrence.